email, no computer, no internet. Just think where you would be today if you'd had all of that 5 years ago. Ha, snorts a man. If I'd had an email 5 years ago, I would be sweeping floors at Microsoft and making $5.35 an hour. Which brings us to the part of the story. Since you got this story by email, you're probably closer to being a janitor than a millionaire. I thought that's pretty cute. We have Miss Jefferson here.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Miss Jefferson, Eleanor Jefferson, for those who do not know her, she is the Executive Director of HNMA, which is the Historic Northeast Midtown Association, which is the it oversees all the neighborhood groups are basically within the 4th District. 1st and 4th District?
Yes.
Okay. And we happen to have her, and she is quite a person. You want to know anything, she knows everything.
Oh, no.
Everything, Eleanor Jefferson, and if she doesn't know, she asks her daughter.
Right there. Thank you very much for inviting me, absolutely. And Mr. Owens, of course, is very modest, and then there's Ms. Newton here who also called me up and said, okay, this is what we need to do. So between Mrs. Newton and Mr. Owens is the reason we had the organization. So thank you very much for inviting me.
And we're glad to have our commissioner here, Commissioner Johnson. Are you meeting tonight? Are you all meeting tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, you going to football game?
No, sir. I wish I was until I realized how cold it is.
Oh.
So I'm going to watch it at home.
Oh, well, you might go out there and go. And our commission officer, Officer Pittman, thank you for coming. His partner went to Hawaii and left him and sent him some pictures. On the back table, there are some items back there: toothbrushes, pens, pedometer. So if you want to see how many miles or footsteps you take, just help yourself, and please take everything on the table back there. So we want to take them back home, all the bags and everything. Oh, we have but John is an honorary member. As a matter of fact, John was the first honorary member of the Neighborhood Association. We haven't got into meetings yet. It's part of our call because we haven't contacted him. But let me tell you a little about John. John is one of the most modest men that you could find. I met John, about 5 years ago. That he's the only person that's been postmaster of the postal system in Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas.
Wow.
And I don't think he applied for either one of the jobs, did he? So to speak, applied for one. John believes that God took care of him. And of course, John, y'all know what high school he graduated from, don't you? John, they don't know, tell them what high school he graduated from. Okay, that's unusual. You're looking at a man that's been the postmaster of Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. And John, as you know, I think I met John, and one day I was cutting the grass at the lot there near 10th and Washington, because we had said if you let us put our flower thing there, we'll keep the grass cut. And so I was down there, it was hot as heck down there, and I don't know what I was doing out there cutting the grass. And John pulled up and said, "What are you doing down here cutting this grass? How did it go on?" "Oh, okay, John." He went and got his mower and came back, and he kept that grass cut for the rest of that year and the following year. And after we acquired those vacant lots, as you all know, that's before we had our riding mower. John was very gracious in helping to keep those vacant lots cut for him. Now, speaking of vacant lots, now this is property tax season, and I know we're not supposed to transact in the business, but we do need permission to to pay the property tax. And again, we like to emphasize to the lots that we own. We own 1112 Everett. The tax on that is $5.44. We own 1116 Everett. The tax on that is $4.76. 1120 is Everett, $3.74, and $11.35 Everett, which is $4.42, which is the total for those vacant lots is $18.36. So we'd like to get Mr. President, a motion to approve this, so we can go ahead and take this for December 20th, so Mr. Johnson don't take our lots back.
I'll pay it for you.
Okay, Chester made a motion, or get a second? So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. All against? Motion carried.
And another person here that does a tremendous job, make sure that everything is in order, is Samuel Remsen. Sam is standing there in line. Sam and the blind school. I don't know the young lady who with him. I don't know what's. Okay. But we know Sam. Sam takes good care of us. We call, we bug him. He does what, I mean, he really helps. He's a part of our group. So Sam, thank you so much for all that you do to help us out. Would anyone like to make a comment about their most memorable Christmas? Nobody had a memorable Christmas. Let me tell you what mine was. 1944. That was before most of you were born, right? Okay, I lived in a little town, at least my parents don't call it, Ashdown, Arkansas. And people say, describe Ashdown. Well, Ashdown wasn't hell, but you could see hell from Ashdown. And that time they had a sign, Highway 71 was the main street. Ashdown is 20 miles from Texarkana. So you drive up there and the sign that says, stop sign right there. You get to the main street, that was the main street. It says, welcome to Ashdown. And on the back side it says, please come again. Well, Christmas, for those who may have lived during the Depression was difficult all across this country. And so we grew up during the Depression, and our parents, like all the other parents, were doing great things for us. And I tell people I had a great Christmas. I mean, a great childhood. But this Christmas in 44, my dad came to Kansas City in 1942, right after the war started, 1942, and worked at Santa Fe. And they moved the whole family in 1946. But in 1944, when he came home for Christmas, we had never, at least my older brother, myself, and my brother next to me, we had never had any Christmas toys. And matter of fact, that wasn't the expectancy of getting toys and stuff. The emphasis was placed on other things, you know, the family together. Right. And for those who lived during that period of time and lived in a rural area, Sam and I were talking about this today, the people started cooking about a week or 2 weeks before. Right. And they would put the cakes and stuff in drawers, and as Sam said, how many of y'all know what a chefferoe is? Everybody know what a chefferoe is? You know what a chefferoe is? You know what a chefferoe is? Sir. He knows. Paul, he said he know what a chefferoe is.
It's like a dresser, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a dresser. Okay. And the people would cook these cakes and put them, they would stay for a couple of weeks. So on Christmas morning, you'd go from house to house eating and exchanging. Didn't expect toys, but it was a great time. But in 1944, my dad came home for Christmas and he had all these bags, and he had a little red wagon he bought from my brother Uriel. From older brother, he bought a pair of tennis shoes. And for me, he bought a little filling station. And that was the first store-bought toys that we'd ever had. I was 11 years old. A little filling station, and we were just ecstatic. But you think now, if you grew up like that, you're appreciative of everything. And we think of the goodness of God from where you start out like that. And where we are today, and I'm always grateful. No, we joke, I tell folks I was 7 years old before I got my first pair of store-bought shoes. Store-bought shoes. My dad used to make shoes out of leather. We had called patent leather. Know what patent leather is? Yes, sir. Well, no, you're not the kind we had. It was leather on the top and feet patting the ground. I'm just kidding. But one of the things that we did on Christmas, families got together and they joked and they had fun and were humorous, had a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And laughter is good for the soul. And now I guess with everything going on, I think we get too tight. So that's why sometimes I have to watch myself because I probably kid too much. Anna, tell us something about your most memorable Christmas.
I think my most memorable Christmas was when I was 10. I can remember we were poor. I thought we were rich, but we were poor. And we lived upstairs. I had wanted a bicycle. We lived right beside a grocery store. And I kept telling my granddaddy, I can ride it. If you just get it for me, I'll learn how to ride it. He said, girl, you didn't spend your leave. I know, that's all right, I'll ride it. So anyway, make a long story short, when Christmas came, we always had prayer around the potbelly stove. My grandmother, she would cook pies and cakes, like Mr. Thorne said, a week ahead of time. And we just had a good Christmas. We'd have prayer, and we'd have hot chocolate with marshmallows in it. And when I took that brown paper sack from around that tree to see what was in that package, there was a blue and white girl's bicycle. And I fainted. And my granddaddy said, never no more. Not giving her anything else. Every Christmas she faints. Because they always got, like I said, we were poor, I was only child. But they always managed to get me something I like. One year I got a typewriter, I fainted. The year I got the bicycle, I fainted. The year I got the skates, I fainted. He said, no more. So those were my memorable Christmas when I was young, coming up, an only child, a lot of food, a lot of love, a lot of prayer. And we went from house to see what everybody had. We drank hot cocoa and helped everybody else open their gifts. You know, but I had a good childhood. Good childhood.
Well, another Christmas, you know, my father, and I don't know if anybody in the room actually knew my father. He was a man who was about 6 foot, almost 6'3", with about 230 pounds, big man.
Big man.
And he was a master psychologist on his 7th grade education. And my mother was his equal. She was also, they both were master psychologists. And in my house, we have a picture of the house that I was born in and my sister next to me was born in. But we lived in a house with 2 cousins, their father and dad, my father's brother, myself and brother and a sister, my grandmother and an uncle. We all lived in this one house. And Christmas, you really, you know, you'd hear about Santa Claus, but Santa Claus wasn't a big thing like it is now. We didn't have any electricity you could hook anything up to, so that wasn't any problem. So we didn't have a utility bill. But Christmas coming, and you really, as a child, you wanted things, but you really knew you wasn't gonna get anything, not the toys and stuff. But my 2 cousins, one was about 5 years older than I was, and one was about 7 years old. So they were almost teenagers. And so interesting enough, you know, my parents were not approved, but back then you didn't call people by the first day. But my 2 cousins called my uncle by the name Chester. I'm named after my father. And so I was the youngest, and so they called me Charles, and said, Charles, tell Chester we're gonna get anything for Christmas. And we kind of got excited, so I went and asked Dad. He said, oh yeah, this year, you're going to get something this year. You know, and we know what my dad had promised you something, particularly if you promise you a whipping, you're going to get it. Right? So he said, you're going to, I assure you. So we were all excited. So Christmas Eve, he said, you all go to sleep. Santa Claus will be here in the morning. So we all rushed and got to sleep. About 2 o'clock, we heard something go boom, boom, and we all jumped up excited. We ran in and my dad was coming in the door and tears were streaming down his face. He said, too bad, kids, Santa Claus just committed suicide. That's what got the house. Y'all know that's not true. Anyway, that's just a fact. That's just a fact. Woo! Anybody else would like to talk about a memorable Christmas?
Old reel. When that happened.
Now, that's just kind of a joke, but that's within the family. That's, matter of fact, I read that in Reader's Digest years ago. But I guess when that was supposed to happen, I would have been probably around 4 or 5. But growing up, many people sitting here can tell you some experiences they had. I know John can tell you some experiences. The rest of them can really tell you some experiences that we had growing up back during that time.
During that time, we really believed in Santa Claus. We would rush to go to bed the night before Christmas because we knew Santa Claus was coming, and you can't be awake. And we leave our cookies and milk out so that he could eat the cookies and drink the milk, and didn't know my dad and mom was eating it and drinking it. Those were the days when you're poor and you don't know you're poor. But, and I was the only child, so I didn't have any problems. Anything, whatever I asked for, I got.
Well, I think, I tell people, we were never poor, we were broke, but we were never poor. The thing to emphasize was that you just didn't have any money, and everybody was living basically the same. We lived in a rural area, and for those who grew up in a rural area, we had hogs, we had chickens, we had all of that. And around March and April, you'd eat up all the meat, you know, in the smokehouse where you had them shoulders and all the hams and everything, and have you some lasses, y'all call them molasses, but you have some molasses and get you some biscuits and get you some butter and put on that biscuit and turn it in that molasses, you know, in the plate, and it was delicious. But my dad, he would do some interesting with dad and mother. But let me shift here to some sayings. These are some how you spell